Okay, let's go.
He wants to jump
1,000 cars. Sir, you have 1,000 cars.
I don't think I'd attempt to try this stunt.
Or we owe this horsepower to Uncle Sam.
Too many cars.
Car. You know, roses would be...
Like I put my beer belly on it.
If you can't immediately tell somebody how many cars you have.
You'll really give those uppity yuppies something to think about.
Stay on the bar. Don't go off the bar with your Bronco.
1980 Volvo horns. What's right?
Yeah.
I want the man's coolant.
And he's like, oh, I thought it'd be small. It's for a small car. And I'm like, yeah, but it's still an automatic transmission. They're never going to be light.
It's definitely going to have to crash.
Starting off with Brad buying another car.
That's the West.
Internet.
You know, is this a Nigerian oil print?
I also wish you drove a tan Camry.
Anyways,
Anyway,
that's a
horrible,
very
horrible podcast content.
very
Talking about a picture.
inside joke.
It loves to be driven hard.
It's hot. It's real hot. It's like I don't know if we can podcast in a thunderstorm.
Says Andrew from Massachusetts, where everybody gives me a hard time for living where it's so hot.
Yeah, I don't know. Just what happens. And I feel like we've recorded before on the summer solstice. I definitely feel like there's an episode name that's like Project Car Solstice or something.
Well, we've been doing this now for entirely too long, so chances are pretty good we have, yes.
We've probably recorded on a summer solstice, yeah.
Yeah, possibly even more than once.
Yeah. Most light of the year. Now it's all downhill.
Yeah, well, it's also good because we need a little bit of a break from the temperature that's out there in both of our locations. So,
oh, I don't mind it.
No, I really don't either, honestly. And I work on the road, so I'm out in it all day. And everybody's always like, oh, man, I bet you can't wait to get back to the office. It's like, no, I really don't mind. It's not that big a deal. I mean, it's hot, but it's better than it being cold. So,
yeah, my windshield apparently cracked from the heat, which I've never had happen before.
Huh. Must have already been cracked.
Apparently maybe a small chip, and then the heat made it crack. It's real weird. I don't necessarily believe that. I think it was defective, but glass is covered, so I'll just have them replace it.
Yeah, I can't say as I've seen that happen before. It would make me real nervous because I live here in the heat and I have cars that have windshields that are impossible to get. So,
yeah, I called her and the glass company, and she's like, "Oh yeah, just call and get another number from the regular insurance. They don't force you into safe flight." And I was like, "Yeah, it's kind of weird. It just like cracked, like just from the heat. I've never seen that before." She's like, "Oh, that happens. You turn the AC." I was like, "Okay." I mean, it doesn't really cool off instantly. It's not like a cold shock.
Yeah, you're not pouring ice cold water on it.
The only thing I can think of is it went in for an oil change, Autobahn, and they washed the car nicely, which I appreciate. Okay. And then maybe if it was the cold water, it like cracked straight down from the top along the black painted part around, and then a right turn around the rain sensor and over to the driver's side.
I wonder if there was a flaw in the glass. It really sounds like there was, because that's just weird.
It's perfectly down the delineation between the clear glass and the painted part.
Yeah, that's odd.
And also, since I have to ask the windshield guy, since he did the windshield, there's been the oily goo leaking out of the rain sensor that I'll clean.
Well,
off,
I'm sure
and
that
will leak some more.
You'll have to have him put a different kind of glue on that or something. Maybe a different kind of glue.
I don't know. It's like oil. It doesn't dry.
Strange. Because
super.
I know
weird.
I have one of those like windshield things to mount a cell phone. It's like a suction cup with like a sticky substance on it. And when it gets really hot, goo leaks out of that to the windshield.
Weird. It never did it before the windshield was replaced. I had it for several summers before the windshield was replaced. So
yeah, I'm sure the factory glue is different than whatever they use.
Yeah, it's weird. But I was worried that I'd never had a windshield replaced in the car, and then I was like, oh, I'm going to get into a cycle now. This car is going to constantly need windshields.
At least you live in Massachusetts where they're covered 100%.
Yeah. So, whatever.
Excellent.
Call the insurance company, get it replaced, because it's like a big crack, like even bigger than before.
Yep, that's annoying. I still have a couple of cars that need windshields, but it's just been so much other stuff going on that I haven't had it taken care of yet.
Yeah. But, I mean, I haven't done much else. I worked on the Montero a bit. I don't think there's much, I haven't even done any other car stuff, no events.
You learned hog
NASCAR
ring
Sunday.
pliers.
What's that?
You learned hog ring pliers.
Yeah, I'll talk about that when I get to the Montero.
Oh, okay.
NASCAR races New Hampshire on Sunday, so going to that.
Excellent.
It's kind of wild. They were in Iowa last week, and now they're in New Hampshire.
I mean, it's not that far. I went from Iowa to Massachusetts in less days than that. So
it isn't, but it feels like you would put the races maybe a little bit closer. I mean, I wonder if Iowa's a short track, so I wonder if they went direct to New Hampshire, or if some teams went back to like the Carolinas to the shops.
my guess is some teams go back to the shops and do work rather than just be on the road 24/7. I mean, Iowa to New Hampshire is nothing compared to Sonoma to Iowa.
It's probably about the same.
That's right. Or they went from LA to Daytona. Like there's
but
no.
But you got a short track car, and you got a road course car. So I don't think they went directly. Maybe they went back to the Carolinas to get a different car for Iowa. So interesting.
I don't know, man. Those haulers are so big they can haul more than one car. So who knows?
Yeah,
it probably depends a lot on where the team is based out of, how much they can haul in their trailer, if a car gets wrecked, what kind of spares they have, what the plans are for the team. I'm sure there are some teams that went from Sonoma back to wherever their race team is based, and then went from there to Iowa. And there are probably some teams, maybe a lower budget team, maybe per se, that went to Sonoma and straight to Iowa from Sonoma. Who knows? It's probably dependent on the team, I assume.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what tires they're going to run. Hopefully they run like the Iowa tires, because they kind of wore out fast.
Sort of. They did and they didn't, because they were talking about Ryan Blaney running something like 90 laps on his lefts.
Huh.
So it was a weird, I don't know. It's a weird thing right now with tires. I don't really understand. I tried to understand earlier in the season, but I think there's just so much change going on with what Goodyear is doing that it's hard to keep up with it.
Well, they know the problem is the short tracks. Like they can't, the mile and a half, the car's really good. Super speedways, they seem to kind of figure it out to get the racing close. But some of the short track races have not been that great. So hopeful it's a decent race.
New Hampshire's always been a good show no matter what, though. So
if it rains a little bit, they will run rain tires. So that's interesting.
Right. And it's New England, so it's always a chance of it raining a little bit.
I mean, there were a lot of years we went, it did not rain. It was just really hot. But there's some rain in the forecast for Sunday. So we'll see.
Is the heat dome going to lift by Sunday?
It's supposed to tomorrow.
Okay, good. I don't want to disappoint anybody listening by not talking more about the weather, so.
Yeah. But anyway, that's about it. The Iowa race was like interesting, sort of. I really thought we were going to have another Larson win, and then he spun himself out, I guess.
Yeah. Did he spin himself out? Was he taken out? I don't really know.
His post-race interview, he said he shouldn't have taken the middle like that, and did not put blame on Suarez. So, and you can kind of see like Suarez was kind of moving down a little bit, and Larson was getting squirrely. or somebody else got squirrely because he was trying to get away from him.
I think Lars. I think Suarez
got a
got
little
squirrely.
loose.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
mainly
but,
because the side air was taken off by Larson.
Yeah, because he was forcing his way through the middle, and it kind of bit him, I think. So he wasn't mad.
For sure. You got to wonder, though, if it was somebody who wasn't Suarez, if it was a more experienced NASCAR driver, if maybe that wouldn't have happened. But nonetheless, I don't think Suarez did anything wrong. And, lack of experience isn't an issue. That's something you only get after driving for years. So it was a bummer for Denny because he got taken out in the aftermath of the incident, but I don't mind seeing Larson not win. So I did smile. Not a question.
Oh, oops.
Yeah. Oh, I feel terrible. Wait, nope, not at all. But sweet. Well, I look forward to hearing your report from the track. So.
Yeah, annoyingly, it's the same weekend as Watkins Glen IMSA, which is the only New England IMSA race. So I picked NASCAR instead. But I've complained about that before. However, did you watch any of the not the Rolex, Le Mans 24 hours?
So I'm slightly annoyed about that.
Yeah?
I looked on the internet to see
Yep.
where I could watch it streaming.
Yep.
And the only place it was streaming was HBO Max, or Max,
Yes.
I guess it's called. So I don't have Max.
Right.
So I looked on the television to see if I could find it, and I couldn't. So I just said, well, I guess I'm not going to watch the 24 this year. And then, where were we? We were out somewhere. Oh, I had a friend of mine's child's birthday. So we were at said child's birthday, and I was talking to my friend's dad, and he's like, oh, have you been watching any of the 24? And I was like, unfortunately, no, because I don't have Max. He's like, what's Max? It's like, it's where the race is being broadcast. He goes, no, it's on Motor-Trend, the Motor-Trend channel. And I was like, no, it's not. He goes, yeah, it is. I was like, okay. So I came home from the evenings, from the day's activities, and I went to put on the Motor-Trend channel, and sure enough, the race was on. They played the entire 24 hours on the Motor-Trend channel, which I was completely unaware of and didn't notice it when I was searching for the race on the cable box. So I'm annoyed that I didn't watch any of it. And then by the time I got home to watch it, it was in that like stupid long rain delay. And then it was bedtime. And then I woke up, and because of where I live, it was over. Yeah. So no, I didn't watch any of the 24 this year, and I'm slightly frustrated by it.
Yeah, I got to sleep through the rain delays because it's like a 6-hour difference here.
Yeah, and it's 3 more hours.
So HBO. So Discovery owns Motor Trend,
correct?
And Discovery and HBO partnered or whatever. And now, if you have HBO Max, you have all of the Discovery Channel stuff.
Sure, but I have the Discovery Channel stuff. But they weren't streaming the race on the Discovery Channel app.
Yes, because you have to have Max or
this whole
wasn't there a Motor Trend
system
app? Did they get rid of it?
So the reason I have Discovery is because I had the Motor Trend app. Now I know our differing opinions on Roadkill and Roadkill Garage, but whatever. I enjoy those shows. But the main reason I kept the Motor Trend app for so long was they played tons of live racing that you couldn't get anywhere else.
Yes.
They played Australian touring cars. They played a bunch of sports car races. They did all kinds of cool stuff. Lots of motorcycle racing. It was all broadcast, streaming live on the Motor Trend app. So I kept it the whole time it existed, and it was like $5 a month. It was super cheap, and it was worth it for all of that car content. They canceled it about, 4 or 5 months ago, but the balance of anybody who had a subscription, because it paid for like a year, was switched over to the Discovery Channel app. So I was slightly annoyed, but then I was like, all right, at least it still has all of the shows on the Motor Trend Network that I liked. Because there's a lot of good shows on there and a lot of garbage on there. And they kept most of the good shows that I watched and got rid of some of the garbage, but kept some of the garbage as well. But there doesn't seem to be any more live racing on the Discovery Channel app, which is super annoying to me. And because I pay for the Motor Trend app, or now the Discovery app, and Discovery is partnered with this whole thing, why couldn't they have had it on both things?
Because they want you to get Max.
I'm so mad.
Because I know they just reinvented cable. If you get rid of the Discovery app and you just get Max, you get all of the things and a bunch of nice HBO shows.
But I couldn't transfer my Motor Trend subscription to Max. I could only transfer it to Discovery.
Right. So when the Discovery is over, then you can move to Max. I don't know.
And I'm sure it costs more money.
Yeah, but you also get like a way more content. Like I watch
need
the
more
Max
content.
app
I
a
only
lot.
have so many hours in my day to sit and watch television. I don't need that much more content.
Yeah. It's annoying, but it was interesting because it was the full Eurosport feed. It
Yes.
was not like NBC filtered. It was like the whole, and it was like kind of dry though. And they don't do a lot of like recaps. Like I had to go because I missed hours because I was out doing stuff or I was sleeping. I had to go on YouTube, and you could at least look up the WEC YouTube channel would do like recap at like 4 hours, 6 hours, blah blah blah.
Yeah, I did catch a little of those.
But it was an interesting race. Like the ebb and flow of the hypercars. Like it's wild how big the hypercar class was. And
yeah, I didn't realize that like Lamborghini had a hypercar now, and
yeah,
there's another class I didn't realize.
That car did not make it to. It wasn't ready for the Rolex 24 we went to, but it ran Sebring. So they did some testing at Sebring for 12 hours.
Okay.
To get it ready for France. It unfortunately didn't make it. The Alpines that only race in Europe, those broke. But it was like at one point the Cadillac was leading, and then the Peugeots were leading in the middle of the night, and then the Toyota started leading, and it was a little weird with the commentators. I don't know if the guy was sleepy or something. He's like, there was like 4 hours to go, and he's like, "Oh, this is Toyota's race. They're gonna win it." I was like, "What are you talking about? There's 4 hours to go."
Yeah,
like anything could happen in 4 hours. That's longer than most like regular races.
sure.
And sure enough, some issues, pit strategy. The Ferraris ended up out front, so back-to-back winners
After a dry spell of 60 years.
Yeah,
Wild.
It would be cool though to see them bring some of the hypercars over, like the Ferraris, the Alpines, and the Peugeots over to the US. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm surprised they don't. I don't know what the Alpines. There's no marketing here for them, right? So that's probably part of it.
Yeah, there's none
And
for
Peugeot
Peugeots
as well.
either, I guess.
Yeah,
But if you brought the
Ferrari,
Ferraris,
Lamborghini.
you'd get even more Formula One fans at Rolex or at IMSA races.
yeah, and I bet that if you brought the Ferraris, Lamborghini would follow suit, and maybe if both of those were following, maybe we would get the Alpines and the Peugeots.
Yeah.
So, who knows? Either way, we've said it before, and we'll say it many times over again. It's a great time to be a racing fan in the United States because there is plenty of coverage out there. You should be willing to find it and pay for it, I guess.
As long as you can find it.
Yeah.
Although, I will say it's better than it was 10 years ago because now it's flag to flag. When you do find it, at least it's not like where it was broken up and in the middle of it, they just throw on like a basketball game. And you're like, okay, I really don't want to watch this right now. I want to watch the race.
Right. I guess it depends on the basketball game. Go Celtics.
Yeah.
There are some crossover fans.
There are.
Anyway, it's not even 10 years ago, though, because I remember just in the past couple of years watching a 24-hour race, and it was like, all right, from noon to 4, it's going to be on USA. Then from 4 to 8, it's going to be streaming on Prime. And then from 8 to midnight, it's back on USA. And it was like, it's frustrating. I just want to watch it one place.
Yeah, or NBC, it would all be, they got rid of NBC Sports, and it would just be stuff on Peacock, which is annoying because if you don't subscribe to that.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, it's good and bad. And then, speaking of this, so IndyCar is going to go to Fox next year. So I look forward to a downgrade in coverage.
For sure. For sure. There's been, I
because
think you
honestly,
sent me
the
video
meme about
meme.
Fox covering the Indy 500. I mean, that was accurate. I mean, there were several NASCAR races like that this year where like a pass was happening and they're like showing a fan in the crowd. You're like, what
Yeah.
are you guys doing?
Cars at door to door, and they cut to some guy in a cowboy hat dancing in the stands. Like, what's happening right now?
Like, who is in the like who is in the control booth? Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Or like the commentators would be like, "Oh, crash in turn 2," and then they're like, "Okay," and then what happened? Like, it would go.
Yeah, where's
like,
the video? Yeah.
They couldn't cut to it quick enough. It's so weird. I mean, they're on a. That's the thing when they do broadcasts like that. You're on like a 3 to 5 second delay. You have plenty of time to do that.
I did eventually wind up liking the commentary with Clint Boyer. I thought he actually wound up being, because he's not a commentator, so it wound up
He's
being
okay.
it wound up being interesting, I think.
Harvick's a wallpaper. It's good.
Yeah, I can live without Harvick, but he brought information, and Clint Boyer was just, I mean, he's NASCAR, and that's, I think, what I liked about him, where he's not polished at all. He's just old school NASCAR.
Yeah, he was
And
all right.
I think that brought a little bit more to the coverage. That the coverage this past weekend was the first NBC race,
Yeah.
and I mean, it was. I don't think it was remarkably better.
No, I'm not a big fan of Jeff Burton either
No,
as a commentator.
no, not at all.
Some of these guys have just got no personality for it. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
It's just not for them. Sorry.
Yeah, no. I mean, hey, listen, it's a learned skill, and they're a good NASCAR driver, but being a good driver doesn't make a good commentator.
No.
It's like just because you can play basketball doesn't mean you can be a good commentator. Not everybody's going to be Charles Barkley. Not everybody's going to be Dale Earnhardt Jr. Like, they're all good commentators as well as players or drivers, I guess, but not everybody's going to be. So there's just, you got to find the right one, and they got these guys in contracts, I'm sure, so they can wait for the contract to filter out and then go from there. Bring back DW.
Yeah. I liked when Larry McReynolds, like, they should just have him in the booth.
Sure.
And not have Harvick, and just have Mike Joy, Larry McReynolds, and Clint Boyer.
Yeah. I think they were going for the two former drivers thing as a style, but it just didn't work because you're right. Kevin Harvick is
boring.
He's not a good personality for that. It'd be like getting Chase Elliott up there. Like, oh, what's happening right now? It's so slow.
Yeah, just like,
so
no charisma. I don't know. It's like weird.
Fans' favorite driver every year because he
it's
doesn't
really
say
weird.
anything wrong, but he never say anything right either.
Yeah, dude is boring. Like, I don't
Yeah.
get it.
Hey, listen,
I mean,
I've
he could
admitted this
wheel,
before.
But like,
Yeah. I've admitted this before. When I first got back
get a
into NASCAR,
personality.
when I first got back in NASCAR, I was a big Chase Elliott guy, only because I didn't know anybody else, and he's Bill Elliott's son. So I was like, all right, Bill Elliott was cool, so I'm going to go for Chase Elliott. And then the more interviews I saw with Chase Elliott, I was like, man, this guy doesn't bring anything to the sport except a name. So it's like electing a Kennedy for his name, right? It's not the same person anymore. It's just a name.
Yeah.
So that was not a political spin. That was just a comparison.
No, but even, not a big Larson fan, but the guy can like give an interview.
Sure. As long as he watches his mouth.
Yeah. But anyway, a lot of good motorsports out there. TV coverage is spotty, but it's better than
It's all
nothing.
somewhere. You
It's
just gotta
somewhere.
find it. Yeah.
It's better than it was. It's really cool when you can find like some of the European stuff is just straight streaming on YouTube. Like, awesome. But
I find I don't know if you have the MAV TV network there.
yeah, I have it. That's if you got a little kid, you can watch Monster Jam on there.
I actually didn't even know Monster Jam was on there, but I do know that they have the entire Trans Am series is on there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So Trans Am is on there. Yeah, there's a bunch of motorcycle racing on there. I was watching the flat track, like European World Championships from Sweden last week, which is really fun to watch. So there's a lot of cheesy like automotive shows on there, but they have a ton of cool like odd European coverage. Frustratingly, nobody has rally coverage. So
You have to get the Rally app.
yeah, sure. Here we go. Another $5 a month or whatever
I
it
know.
costs.
It was also annoying because it was like I got the WRC game and it was like, oh, it comes with a free thing, but then you had to like do something in the game to like do it, and I was like, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to have to do a time trial. I paid for the game. Please just give me the code. Like, come on. That's my old person take.
I know I'm completely 100% fully frustrated right now with the status of these
I think
things.
a lot of people are just getting tired of the subscription model. It's like, come on,
Yeah.
just I want to pay for it once. You just give it to me. If you come out with a new one, maybe I'll buy it again, but stop making me subscribe to it.
Yeah, it's just that whole. I don't know. I don't want to get into a rant about it any more than I already have today. So it's there.
All right,
Miss just owning media.
I did.
I don't miss having stacks of DVDs, but I do miss owning media.
Yeah. I did some project updates. At least on the Montero. So I talked about like several episodes ago of going to the junkyard, finding the cloth seats. I cleaned them all up. I wrestled. So the back seat is now a single bench. And it must have been a thing that happened later on, or maybe higher models got split fold seats in the back. So I don't have split fold seats, which I never really use that much. I usually end up folding down both sides anyways to carry big stuff. So no big loss. I cleaned up that seat, steamed it. I didn't take the cover off. I cleaned it, steamed it several times, vacuumed it. Didn't smell too bad. Once I rustled it in the truck, it felt like it weighed like 100 pounds. It was pretty big. Luckily it bolted up exactly the same, no problems. Wasn't any changes to it. I was able to swap the original armrest off the leather because whatever reason the armrest and this cloth one were just totally shredded. It was a dog or something in there, I don't know. And then I pulled from the cloth seats that I got for the front, I pulled those headrests off and put them on the back seat, so it's got open headrests on the top, which look kind of cool. And with the leather armrest, like, looks really good. Like, it kind of ties it into the leather inserts and door panels. So I'm really happy with the way. I feel like I should address that if it sounds like I suddenly cut off. It's because the power went out and we should not record during a thunderstorm. But anyway.
Future reference, yeah. Just to throw a little weather halfway through the show.
Back to talking about the seats.
Yeah, it doesn't look out of place at all. I mean, a lot of cars have that look where it's a vinyl or leather bolster and a cloth seating surface, and it kind of just has that look to it. If you didn't know, you wouldn't know kind of deal. So it worked out pretty well. I like it a lot.
Yeah. So the back seat looks cool. I was like, all right, let me try one of the other seats. And of course, it's been super hot. So I was like, this is a perfect time to wrestle a seat. So I started by tearing down the cloth seats to the front. Like, I tore them all the way down. I got them all the way down to just the seat bottom, the seat backs, and got to the hog rings, which are just like little metal rings that clip around metal parts of the seat that just tighten and hold the fabric. And all you need is various needle nose pliers to try to get them loose. And then once you get them going, they're really easy to pull off. Just takes like a little bit of manipulation. I've never actually done upholstery work before. I know how to do it, but I've never done it. So it was a little interesting. I had to buy a set of hog ring pliers, and the Lyle ones you get on Amazon for like $20 had really good reviews, and they worked perfect. So,
yeah, I have a set of them. I did the seat covers on a Miata quite a few years ago, and I was pleasantly surprised by how not difficult it was. I've been, I think, scared over the years just by lots of people saying that upholstery is impossible to do. But I think when you're doing a cover situation like this, especially in your case where they're used covers, they're already stretched to fit. Whereas maybe a new factory seat covers a lot harder to do. I don't know, but I didn't have issue with aftermarket seat covers on Miata seats either.
The big thing is that the hog ring pliers are spring loaded, so you open them up and put the hog ring in there, and it holds them.
Yeah,
So you don't
they
have to
make a
have
big
constant
difference.
hand pressure on it. And I bought some stainless steel hog rings, and I was a little worried at first because they didn't have the pointy nail end, but that didn't matter. They went right through any fabric I had to go through.
Yeah, even if they didn't, you could have poked a hole in all or something probably.
Yeah. Like the original ones I pulled off were like copper colored. I don't think they were copper, and they were just coated with something so they didn't rust. And like probably like what like a metal coat hanger is coated with. So
Well, if you look under the hood of any Mitsubishi of that era, all of the fittings when they're new are like kind of like a zinc plating on them. So it was probably a similar.
no, these are like copper, like penny color.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I took them all down. I had already cleaned and seamed those seat covers, but now because I had them off, I actually threw them in the washer dryer just to make sure they're extra clean. It's weird because the passenger side had plastic like mounting things sewn in them inside them, and the driver's side had metal, like basically like wire coat hanger type stuff. I definitely should have removed that before running it through the dryer because that got jammed in the lint trap.
Oops.
So that was cool. I thought I'd ruin the covers, but
Or the dryer.
yeah, they were fine though. Luckily, like I just did like delicate wash, like cold water, and then in the dryer I just did delicates, like low heat, because I didn't want them to like shrink up. So then I took out the passenger side, broke that seat down. Turns out seat bottoms are different. Like the shapes are the same, but like the way they're made are different. They're on my truck, the 99, the seat bottom, like the base is all one piece, and the seat bottom from the 95 truck, it seems like, I think it was about a 95, the metal that goes to the foam bottom bolts to the seat base, whereas the 99, that was all one piece. So I had to do some like mixing and matching of parts. So I've got the older seat base and the metal base in the truck now on the passenger side, but I used all the foam from my truck because the foam was in better shape. And I used the seat back from my truck because it was in better shape. I also wanted to use all the foam because it had the heater pads glued to it. That was the whole reason why I took this all apart. If I didn't want to keep the heated seats, I would have just swapped the cloth seats one for one.
Right. It would have been easy, even with different bottoms.
So I got the passenger side all done. It looks great. It's like a little wrinkle in it, but I'm like, man, for never having done upholstery before, it's like an 8 out of 10 job. Like,
and it's a 1999 Montero. It's not a brand new Rolls Royce. Yeah.
Yeah. That seat cover smells okay, but now I noticed that I've got the back seat in the truck and it's been so hot. It doesn't smell like cigarettes. It smells like tobacco, not like a cigar, just like tobacco. And there's definitely there's a couple burn marks on the front cover. So the truck they pulled out of are definitely smoked in. So I think I'm gonna have to get like a ozone bomb and set it off in the truck.
I've heard good things about that electric ozone thing you can buy on Amazon.
I've heard also ridiculous things about that people are like, why do they even sell these? There's like insanely dangerous because they pump out so much ozone.
Well, you don't sit in it with the thing
no,
running,
but
so.
I can also just get the little can ball of it and just let it go.
Yeah,
like
I've had mixed results with that. Sometimes it's not great. So
I'll see. I haven't done the driver's side yet. It's power. I'm hoping that because it's power, that maybe the seat base is separate pieces, so that make it a little bit easier. But I'll have to take it apart and figure it out, and just kind of mash some parts together, make it work.
I wonder if the earlier second gen has a seat style closer to the first gen, because the first gens had a multi-piece bottom. because the first gens had the metal base that the seat went on, and then it either went on a bouncy base or a standard base, but it was a split piece there.
You could get a bouncy base in an early 2G, so
That's what I mean. Maybe it's a similar like setup for that.
maybe. I'm hoping that since the power one has to move, that they just use the metal base to bolt to it. It's not
Yeah,
one
hopefully.
piece. So, I'll see.
Tune in next week for updates.
Yeah, because it basically, the problem was that it's the way I couldn't use the base because the newer one out of the 99, my truck, the base did not have the provisions to use hog rings. The leather cover on the bottom clipped in with plastic clips.
To the
So
base itself.
that's why I had to swap them.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would have used the same base and just used the hog rings.
Could you have drilled holes to use the hog rings? It's a lot more work.
No, because the fabric had nowhere to stretch around and underneath.
Okay.
Yeah. And also, I looked at the two bases really carefully, but apparently not carefully enough to realize I thought they were both identical, even though they're left and right. And something told me, like, you should make sure they're not driver's and passenger side. And I was like, looking at them, like, no, I think they're the same. And I got the whole thing together and then put the seat back on, and the brackets weren't lining up for the seat back to the base. And I was like, what is going on here? Are they actually different? And I like took one off of the other seats. And I'm like, no, these brackets are identical. What happened here? And I was like, oh, the metal base is different. I was like nearly done. And then I took another hour and I had to undo half of just basically where I clipped it underneath and unclipped it from the metal base. I didn't have to undo it from the foam.
It's the moral of the story here. Listen to your wife.
Listen to myself.
I think Stephanie said.
No. So, I'm glad I tried upholstery on this truck because I'm going to have to do covers on the Volvo eventually.
Yep.
And I have a good idea how to do it now. So
now you're not afraid of it.
Not at all. It's not a big deal. I need to find seat bases for the Volvo, but yeah, I also need to get that car towed over to my parents so I can work on it. But hopefully this coming week or so.
We're all patiently waiting.
Yep. That's a project that my dad wants to work on too. We're going to do it during the week. But anyway, that's all I got for project car updates. And I think we're going to wrap this episode up in case the power goes out again.
Sure. That's perfectly okay because I don't have any project car updates. The quick and dirty of it is the Maverick is going into the body shop again finally on Monday. So hopefully by next week I'll have some at least progress updates on that to get that shoddy work hopefully straightened out by a different shop this time, one of my choosing that I know their work. So hopefully they do us right and get us the car back well. But that does mean that I do need to get a vehicle ready for Naomi to drive next week. So I was going to have her just drive the Eclipse, but it needs tires. And I don't know that I want her driving on the interstate with the tires that are on it. Maybe they're fine, but also maybe they're not. So I was going to let her drive the 944 because it has air conditioning. But then I realized that that car needs an oil change. So just before we started recording, I got a ring on the doorbell, and it was the UPS man with the FCP Hero box full of oil stuff. So tomorrow, when it's 115 degrees out, I have to go change the oil in the 944 and get that ready for a couple days of commuting next week. So there's a future project car update there, but no actual project car update. And then real quick on the Scale Autocast front, I did buy a new toy. I think I sent you it last weekend, and I couldn't help myself.
Oh, you actually bought that?
And I bought one, yes. So it's it's labeled as a 1/24th scale RC Montero, a Pajero first gen square body, like my old truck. It's a little bigger than 1/24 scale. I guess it's probably around 1/20th scale, but it's super cool. And it came also just before we started recording, so I haven't done much of it other than drive it around the living room floor and crawl over some shoes with it. So it's a pretty neat little 4-wheel drive truck. But I'll post some pictures of that on Scale Autocast this week and have some updates with that. But I keep trying to get back into this RC thing because it's really fun and it's like really hot here, so I can play with it in the house a little bit, like build things and modify them, and kind of gives you that wrenching feel sometimes. So anyway, it's a neat little truck that I'll post some pictures of on Scale Autocast. So that's all.
All right, cool. So as always, you can follow us on Facebook, Out of Topic Podcast, Out of Topic on Instagram, Out of Topic on Threads. I am Race and Anger on Instagram and Threads. And Brad, where can they find you?
They can find me at TSISS350 on Instagram and Threads. They can find both of us on Discord. Send us a message that you want an invite, and we'll send you an invite. Come join the fun over there and make fun of us for talking about the weather in real time.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, keep your cars analog and aim for the roses.